Hi everybody, your monthlies are finally coming out. I really had to kind of resolve in my own head how to do it to balance between everything I want to do for you and my current inability to actually donate as much time. So I decided to go free flow. And free flow, it's not going to have any kind of spread attached to it. I'm simply going to ask possibly different decks to give me messages for you, and we'll go with that. And this is sort of like really high level message that it's going to tell you where you can go and to what you can amount and what you have to watch for, like sort of like basic kind of like let's go for it kind of thing. I'm going to give in my bi-weeklies, which are always on the 1st and 15th published, so I'm sticking to that. And for those of you who are looking for X situation or on and off, like there are also those series that are coming out every month. Now, before I move further, I actually want to send a shout out to everybody, and hopefully you will be joining in this particular proposal that I have. So I'm in the process of actually building my own card deck. It is collaboration between me and Mira, a wonderful, extraordinary artist. And so we are bouncing off the ideas back and forth. She's adding her basically touch to it, and everything that I have seen so far is like coming out really wonderfully. Now, I would actually like you guys to have your own touch to this basically making. And so I'm not doing this haphazardly. I don't know how much you know about me. I'm also a marketing professional. So I'm trying to select a group of people, 10 to 20, that, can give their 2 cents. And this is not like kind of a call for you giving accolades. This is really, I can understand this message in it. No, I cannot understand message in it, because that way you're going to set us straight to be on the right path. And so I'm trying to actually select these 20 to have men and women, people from all walks of life, people with all kind of tarot experiences, from, hey, I'm just here to watch it, to, yay, I am basically a guru. So if you guys are willing to jump on board, please go to www.cattarot.ca/focus group and just like submit your application. Why do you think you should be the one in that group? And I really, really appreciate everybody doing that. This is non-paid position, and it's purposely non-paid position because I do want you to give me a rough time. And this way, it's going to be a really wonderful creation, because sometimes I may be too much up in the air. I'm an air sign, and maybe I need to be grounded a little bit more because I really like abstract. Other people really like ground. So hence, this collaborative kind of like pointers would really help to set me and Mira sailing in a better direction. And it's going to be a few rounds of this. This is a very, very first preliminary round. And I'm really, really thanking in advance to everybody who actually spent time even listening this plea, and especially to those who actually apply or participate in a study. Thank you so much, and I look forward to applications. All the best. And now for the rest of us, let's jump right into the reading. Hello, sweet Pisces, and welcome to your October reading. So, before we start and jump right in, I have actually pulled one rune for you, which kind of is going to give me a flavor of a direction that kind of like certain things are going. And you got a rune Isa. See this kind of like line, something going straight forward. This is the rune of danger, and this is basically talking about ice, right? And of course, just like the name, it basically implies it is about the ice and cold, and almost like actually resemble an icicle. So it kind of relates to January, and looks like you really have to watch the next 3-4 months, right? And the meaning here is like that patience becomes a virtue. And interestingly enough, you also got a card of patience over here. So just hear it out, because this maybe kind of is going to tell you, well, watch the hole, you might fall in, right? Because this is talking about is speed of glacier or water, something that is like so big and something that just cannot be stopped, right? You cannot jump in front of it and stop it, right? Because the events are going to take their own sweet time. They're going to be slow, but something that's going to be huge, right? So you might actually be worried about something, especially if this question is maybe addressing relationships, because if something is talking about cold, can we be cold-hearted, right? So maybe a cooling of affection and maybe lessening of the communication kind of like be the issue, because I am seeing something like this here. But do not fret, right? Although this rune predicts uncomfortable and possibly emotionally chilly time, the inevitable delays and frustrations can actually as well be blessings, right, in disguise, because your desires will slowly evolve over this period. Isa can also show a respite from emotional turmoil. So the true really lesson of this cold rune is to tread carefully and surely across treacherous ground. So haste will only lead to more frustration, and even worse, you might lose your footing, right, and slip and fall. So we are going to see really how this connects deeper with the other aspects, because I'm seeing a lots of wonderful things happening in front of you. So this is all telling me that this is just saying that most likely for you, cutting off certain things, looking at them in a clinical way, and delays will be in your best interest. Because maybe you are kind of rushing in, you know what they say, fools rushing in, and the karma is stopping you and saying, wait a minute, this is not going to end well, and slowly but surely it's kind of pushing you on your path. You are getting the first card, Forest, Breath. Isn't this lovely? I mean, this is also looking this like fall that in the northern hemisphere we feel. For those of you guys in Australia, wow, good for you, are getting in your starting your springtime, right? So when you're in the forest, it's almost next to impossible not to take deeper breaths, right? And here is talking about oxygen and this generosity that the trees is basically putting down on you, right? Because this is that natural exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? And this is why it's really good to have plants, because we give them basically what they need. We give them the carbon, basically dioxide, because when we breathe it out, and they give us back the oxygen, and we create this like wonderful thing. And not to mention that also bring all these additional things, such as this basil, the poor thing that is growing out of proportion on my table, that is giving such a nice smell, and I should start using it in my bath. So if you have all these flavors, which is amazing in a tomato salad, it's also great to just cut it, and you can put it in a cheesecloth and just like dip it in a hot bath, and it's going to give you the sense of peace and relaxation as well. So this is just, instead of basically essential oil, you can really use that, or rosemary, or even lavender. Just like wrap it in and just dip it in. It's going to do and accomplish the same thing. So this is basically definitely talking about connectivity, up and down, gratitude, right? Exchange. And it's telling me that your breathing is possibly too shallow, which means you're accumulating stress, which means you are maybe approaching some kind of crossroads in your life. So when you subconsciously shorten your breath, you know, you possibly means you have been triggered by some kind of event or by some kind of circumstance, right? And this activates certain psychological signals, and that prepare your system for fight or flight. Now, when I deal with clients in stress and in distress, the very first thing I tell them is to breathe. I want that release to happen. If you ever practice yoga, you know, sometimes it's really hard to push yourself in this ideal position that you can put yourself easily in if you're a 5-year-old, but not if you're like 42. So believe it or not, just breathing in and feeling that movement is actually what is going to make it happen bit by bit, not maybe overnight, but that consistency over time is what's going to pay off, right? So breathe. Inhale deeply, regardless what is going on through your life. Spend every morning maybe just like sit in your bed, cross your legs, close your eyes. You have this repetition of this as well, because look at this. She has this beautiful Mona Lisa smile. Don't you see it? And I hope this camera is doing a great job of changing when I am changing, but not when I get really close to it. So I'm trying to be less expressive. There we go. You see these kind of people, these are all kind of like mind games that she is just observing and laughing at, right? Because she's going through this emotional experience, through that equilibrium, to foundation of her balance. She's covered with this kind of like cape, which is covered in roses. So this is almost like a protection from the inside chatter that sometimes we just fall into, because this card here is definitely asking to kind of like reconfigure. Do you know this kind of reset button? Control Alt Delete. You are kind of resetting it, and you do that by breathing. Just like if you can, every hour stop yourself for 15 seconds and do that, right? So that remember that every breath you inhale is a gift given to us, and every breath you exhale is also a gift. This forest is basically a clear reminder how this basically nature process work. You guys kind of like have this card that basically never ever came up, but I think it did bring, it came in somebody else's reading. I really can't think of it right now. So it is obviously connected to heart chakra, just like this one, because it's kind of making all these kind of processes and flow happening naturally through you. And this is basically talking about mythology, about, I believe, Australian Aboriginals, and talking about the stories that have been handed down for about 60,000 years, right? So this is kind of involving this hollow wood, which I believe it's pronounced didgeridoo or something like that. I mean, I don't really know how is it pronounced in English, right? So it's basically a hollowed log, really tree, that kind of emits a droning sound when kind of played, right? So here is the spirit man playing it, right? And as he's playing it, he's actually creating the world. So the world is basically created by a song, right? So this is again asking, because this goes from your lungs to tune into your breathing. So some stress barriers need to kind of be broken down, right? Because your breath, you know, as you see, creation is a crossover between spirit and physical reality, right? So breathing comfortably and steadily helps you kind of align yourself, helps you to kind of like be in contact with this divine. So also, this is asking you to discard any patterns. Like we are getting this repeat almost like everywhere. It is just like absolutely amazing. It is calling for your attention. Attention on yourself. Attention on your purpose, guys. And it looks like everything is telling you, look, maybe you want something to happen, but in your best interest is to slow it down. Because things in life go up and down. Just like the ocean has ebb and flow, right? And can we always be on the top? Nope. Are we always on the bottom? Nope. So when we are riding the wave, enjoy it. When we are on the bottom, enjoy it. It's just a natural natural kind of part of life. There is nothing to really worry. It is just basically saying that you're creating something completely new, because you're getting this vision quest, and this is sort of like, again, meditation, pulling yourself deep in, kind of finding your own ground, like what basically people did. And this is talking about religious gurus and even like, some more adventurous people. I do not advise this, but you can do some kind of like offset of it, right? Vision quest is really locking yourself in a place, possibly in the nature, without all the distractions, without the phones, tablets, and simply just breathing and observing everything that can come through to you. By doing that, you will actually start having this connectivity with everything that is around you, and the true path will start to open up. I don't know, like, as here, you would just imagine that simply the trees would kind of like open, so you will really know where to go. So Vision Quest is like definitely asking you to connect with your spirit guides, with whatever is your belief system. There is like certain way you might start seeing 11s and 11s, or something with ones, because this is what you're getting here as well. Because it is, look at this, you have 1 here, and then you have a 10 here. So we have lots of repetition here. You also have another master number here. We are going to get to that. So the end is music. All this kind of things is sort of like a way that nature exists, because what would life be without music? Music is something that we kind of almost like it's transference from God. For those of you who are not on my Facebook, and maybe you want to be, I have posted crickets, and the guy basically recorded crickets and slowed it down to half. Oh my gosh, that was a symphony. It's maybe something most beautiful I have ever heard in my life. So it is kind of like honoring everything around us and understanding that basically you are on a path of something, right? You have this patience card sort of like motive twice. So it's going to be kind of like patience, but at the same time it's kind of very weird, because yes, you're connecting with yourself, with your emotions, kind of like trying to really figure out who you are and what you really need and what you want. So there is that creation. There is this fire in your belly. That is that ball of energy that is going to get activated. And in your case, guys, because you're water sign, it's going to be pulled right back in. This is that queen of water, this receptivity. You see that lotus thing here? You know about lotus? It goes all the way up to the surface and resides on a leaf. The night falls and pulls back, and it goes under the water, and it keeps doing this motion, and each petal opens up. So things will be starting to be revealed to you one by one, and you would so totally know if you're on the right path, because this is the merge of emotion and passion, the best possible thing, and you will be biding your time about it. So you guys are just maybe setting off on the beginning of something really, really important, something that may take good 9 months to basically come to fruition, because the truth is you are becoming the master. Well, the master in this deck is a completely unique card. That will be card number 22, which 22 is in numerology master number, and it's called mastery, just like this. It is somebody who really doesn't have disciplines. You are not here being told you have to jump on the horse and lead the masses. No, this is actually asking about you guys getting a mastery over yourselves, to see really in which direction, it is your new beginning to something. It is just like really amazing. I can't wait to see what will happen here, because what I see is absolutely lovely, and I'll make sure I'm selecting Pisces for my focus group here as well. So look at what tarot is basically nodding. It's a kind of like big, interesting sort of yes. You have 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have Temperance. You have like two major arcanas. From minor arcanas, this one is the strongest card. That's also the fastest card. You see, swords are always connected with royalty. They are connected with words, with contracts, with what is the best for you. Because they were connected with royalty and nobility, they were always in a position to make decisions for the others. So hence it could have looked harsh because there were so many kind of followers and one person who had to attend it. So sometimes the justice could have been kind of abrupt. This is why swords have two kind of edges, because each time, that's why this is one of my karma cards, because each time you give karma, you kind of get it too. So you better kind of watch it what you're doing. So both Queen of Swords and Ace of Swords are talking about kind of new directions. There is a need to clean the house. So you will actually start in lifting yourself to some kind of new level of consciousness. You will kind of realize that some people are not good for you, because Queen of Swords, that kind of laid down her sword, because generally she's very, very patient, as you can see with butterflies, but she is definitely asking you to free yourself from something that was holding you back. And you will know what it is, because somehow the door will open to you over something that maybe you have been told prior that no, it cannot happen. And you are going to get this balance, right? There is like this subconscious and conscious kind of merging together. All of a sudden, again, you feel this creation, the angels, you're connecting. This is talking about two kind of very different things now merging into something new. It's alchemy, right? The concept about alchemy is like you can turn lead into gold. So what is lead in your life right now? Because that, guys, is going to be transformed with balance, with moderation, with mastery, and with patience. You guys have really amazing card, and this is telling you, do not rush it. Something is happening with its own speed, because certain things still need to be ironed out and looked upon. So the patience is the virtue for you guys. So let's check your alignment right now next, and just to see some trajectory that can be happening this month. So let's see, Pisces October, Pisces October 2017, Pisces October 2017. So we have the Child. You know, these guys always look upward, the Clover, and the Fish. You guys might be, well, this is kind of interesting. The Fish is generally talking about, oh, look at that, you have the Locket. If you guys are dating, it looks like some of you might be dating, some of you are in a relationship that you think should actually go to the next stage. However, this is telling me that it's going to still be some kind of testing, and the testing is going to come in the financial kind of field. You will actually try to see really if you can really build the future with this person. So really pay attention to that, because that's what the key is, asking for certain things to be unlocked, because this is talking about everything, putting your anchor down, putting your heart down, and kind of like going in this direction, right, which is positive, which is direction of abundance and finances, right? It's kind of, especially if you're Asian, that kind of like does have special meaning for you, right? So it is also the card of a financial independence. You might be configuring something, a business dealing, something one-on-one, and self-employed people are really represented with this card, right? So it is possibly a really smooth relationship as well that you're going into it, and it is with somebody from from possibly from somebody from before. And it might be also there is a new person, but this person is going to have some sense of familiarity, right? It could be from the past life. You literally are going to feel, oh my gosh, we have, oops, sorry, so many similarities. Like Safi decided to clean, scare the heck out of me. I have 6. So let me see. Actually, let's do this 2, 4, 5. Let's do the mini one because I did a mini one on everybody over here. Mini grand tableau. So guys, this is also general reading. For your personal reading, feel free to contact me at www.cattarot.ca. This initial part is sort of like that general kind of like overview that I go for each of you, if you really want to kind of like see this high end where you can get. Now this is kind of interesting. So there is a significator here, so it can be you or anybody that could be really important in your life at this stage. So what do we see? Now this is again showing that somehow there could be some kind of blockage, and it could be something with dealing with the papers, contracts, right? So there is like 2 steps forward and something holding you back. Some of you may have been going recently through uncovering, undusting, let's say, certain things from maybe some kind of knowledge had to be learned, or maybe you learned about something that kind of made you wiser, or you found a different way of dealing with things, dealing with problems. The entire process with problems is not entirely gone. You're still going through this phase of, you know, trying to committing yourself to you. Some of you might be dating. Some of you might be already committing into kind of something serious and really, really seriously thinking either, you know, about next stage or next phase in the relationship. However, there's still issues. There is like everybody's getting this cross in their trajectory in today's, in basically this month's readings. It's kind of really interesting because there is like still the clarity that is warning you. You have the clouds and the cross over here on one side, but on the other side you have the stars and fish, right? So it's like, okay, something is still holding you down, and that and the mountain just talks about challenges and delays as well. So keep in mind that mountain has these icicles on the top, right? So some of you may be very, very sexual, and you might even find out through the sexuality certain kind of things about your partner that you might not necessarily like. Not necessarily that they're like terms of, you know, your exchange and how you kind of like do your sexual position, but sometimes people in these kind of like vulnerable situation open up, and you might actually see a little bit more of a character of the person. Something might slip out, and that's going to be a reason for concern. You're going to really try. Your Pisces, after all, honestly, I really don't know how you can go through life, because I'm Aquarius and I'm highly skeptical. With you guys, everything is like sunny for you. Oh my gosh, look at that, just bring me flowers. And I'm not saying you're naive, but I'm saying that you guys have to watch the holes. Please watch the holes that you can fall into it, because that's all I'm warning you about. There is something that you strayed away from your path, and this is pushing you back to your path. So if you experience some kind of coldness from somebody, that will be because something you need to get, right? Remember that vision quest, you need to get something, and that's going to kind of like get you back to where you're supposed to be. So lastly, I also pick up 2 cards from my Enchanted Map little book, and you got Magic Stream reversed, which kind of, I guess, is lovely for you since you are water sign. So this is what it says: everything is connected through the universal flow of consciousness. So
In a reverse position, the Magic Stream card represents swimming against the current. There are times when effort and sheer willpower result in victory and celebration, but this isn't one of them. You can't force inspiration, and you can't manufacture creativity, lest you borrow too heavily from others' ideas. Neither can you make someone love you or orchestrate a series of events that might place you in a more favorable position. Now is the time to drop the trying and jump into the stream and float. Immerse yourself in the experience of being fully present with whatever is true for the moment. You'll never step in the same river twice anyway. It's a really good point I'm making about trying. I used to be a manager of a big marketing department, and I had to heal them from the word try, and it was forbidden, because to me it was always self-permission for failure. When somebody says, I'll try, or I'll do my best. No, just do it, please, right? The second card you got is Stuck in the Mud. Hey, lucky you guys, huh? It says, you're being invited to stop and savor the wonder of your life. Becoming stuck is sometimes the only way to trick yourself into slowing down and looking around you. In fact, this is a sign that you need to shift your focus away from what you're doing and place your attention elsewhere. Struggling will only get you to even muddier places. Now it's not the time to move forward, as we know, slow. Now it's time to observe. Clarity about your circumstances will come a little later. Stop and find the joy in what you have been overlooking. Soon you'll be out of the mud, but for now, be still and know that Spirit has a plan for you. So the entire month, guys, it looks like you are pushed to revisit who you are. You are going to get unstuck because this water, the glacier, is moving in, and you are getting unstuck by discharging any blockages inside of you. Be patient. And while you are biding your time, think of your masculine, because this is a masculine king of wands, and this is a feminine female. So if you're female, you might need to balance out. You know the yin and yang? Each kind of part has the opposite contained within. So this is asking for this huge unity of everything, fire and water, right? Masculine and feminine. It's asking you to balance it out, because you guys, after all, are becoming the master. You guys have a beautiful October, and as I said, this is a general reading, and your private reading can be completely different. So do not sweat. Contact me, and until the next time, my dear Pisces, I love you. Have a great month, and let me know your comments. You know, I always like. And if you want to stay a moment later, I'm just going to show you who visited the reading in the beginning. Love you. Hey, hi Pisces. There is somebody here kind of hovering over me while I'm preparing and shuffling cards for your reading. Hi Steph, you like Pisces? Huh? How much? How much? How much? So let's keep her here while I am working on this. For some reason, it's not coming out at all with quite a few shuffling anything from this deck. So, but you got much more than the other signs in the other decks. So let's try it one more time. Pisces, October, there you go. Pisces, Pisces. Oh, there's a second one, lovely. This one wants to come out. Pisces, Wow, absolutely lovely. Well, anyway, this is going to be the end of the reading, so you will see it as an afterthought, because I just want to show this little kind of furball kind of participating over here and wanting to be seen and heard. So it's always a good sign. And Pisces, one more time, thank you very much for being here, and hopefully you're going to subscribe, like, or even send me an email request for your personal reading. Okay, love you guys.